Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a busy few weeks in working Southwest, so just wanted to give you an update on where we are. We, of course, had the St. John's footbridge going up this weekend. I understand from Network Rail that that was due to be done this weekend, so I haven't actually had a chance to go over and have a look as to how the installation is going, but I might pop over tomorrow and try and give everybody an update if I can get near enough and capture something. But I'm pleased that at least we've got confirmation from Network Rail that it is being done this weekend. So that's rather nice, and I think they couldn't have chosen a better weekend in terms of the weather that we've had. So good news in terms of everybody that's very keen to have the footbridge installed. And then we move along to the Purbright Tunnel. So those of you that have followed the issue of the Purbright Tunnel, this is something that I've been working on, for the last 5 years or so. It was something that was brought to my attention by a local mum and a local resident who lived on Corner Road, taking her children across through the tunnel in the morning, and it wasn't safe for pedestrians to be crossing. So I'm getting improvement works in terms of pedestrian crossing safety, as well as getting increased width of footpaths. So that's work is currently going on. I was on site and I did a short video. So let's play the video so you get an idea of what I'm talking about, and perhaps I'll talk to it afterwards.
Hi, I'm Ayesha Azad. I'm by the Purbright Tunnel in Brookwood, just here to see the improvement works that have started. They started last week and they will continue until the 21st of March. It's really great to see the work finally started. It's going to make a huge improvement for children and families using the tunnel, using the footpath to get across to school in the mornings and afternoons, because this was really, really difficult for them to do previously. This all started because a local mum wrote to me. She put together a petition, and the end result is finally we're getting this work done. It will take the next few weeks, and I hope the end result will make the tunnel much safer for all of us.
So yeah, that's just a quick update on where we are. I will actually go back nearer to the end date, which is 21st of March, and let everybody know what the final works look like, because I think it's always good to see. Well, certainly I think for residents using that bit and using that particular road, and certainly for me that's been involved in this for a good while. So I will update everybody and do a video so that you can see what the end result is, which I think will be rather exciting. And then staying on in terms of pavement improvement works, just wanted to mention Ridge Close, which is in Heath, which is the whole of Ridge Close has had its pavements resurfaced, which was on the pavement resurfacing program. So pleased to have got those done. Again, I went on site last week just to have a look at the works now that they were completed. Did a short video on it, and although it was great to see most of it done really to a very, very good standard, there was a bit which is adjacent to Ridge Close and Hook Hill Lane, which unfortunately the contractors did not do to the standard that I think residents deserve. So I will be chasing that up. But again, I did a video so that you can have a look, everyone can have a look at what it looks like. Hi, I'm Ayesha Azad. I'm in Ridge Close in Heath this morning, just coming to have a look at the pavement resurfacing works that have been completed. They took a number of weeks to be done, but really pleased that they are now completed. A number of residents wrote to me about the condition of the pavements on Ridge Close, and I put those up on the pavement resurfacing works for Surrey County Council. So whilst the Ridge Close pavement resurfacing works look great, unfortunately this part, which the contractors deemed was not part of Ridge Close, I assume that they assumed it was part of Hook Hill Lane. They haven't done it, which is really looking terrible. And so I will go back to officers and get this fixed to a standard that residents deserve. So that's Ridge Close. I mean, it was really going so well. Residents were so pleased with the resurfacing works, and then it was just that little bit to the end of Ridge Close and Hook Hill Lane, which was left in that state, which really was not satisfactory at all. So I am following that up with officers, and I will get that looked at, because I think, considering all of the fantastic work that was done, that needs to be done at the same standard as Ridge Close. So just wanted to give you an update on that. And then I wanted to mention an issue that has been plaguing residents in St John's Hill. It's a loose manhole cover that's come loose over the last couple of weeks. And I have chased that up with Surrey County Council. So any manhole cover that's slightly loose, it's usually the responsibility of the utilities. But in this particular case, because St John's Hill Road had been resurfaced, that responsibility then fell on Surrey County Council. So I chased Surrey County Council officers and continue to do that. As of today, I'll do it again tomorrow and see where we are with it. But I was actually on site and did a short video so that you can just get an idea of the sound that it makes when cars are kind of going over it, and how frustrating it is for residents living nearby. So let's play the video, and then everybody will get an idea of the sound.
So me standing here listening to that noise is annoying, but for those people living here, having to listen to that must be excruciating. I am aware of the situation. I have reported it. It's been over a month, and I do understand that it's taken longer than any of us hoped for. The issue is that usually loose manhole covers are the responsibility of the utility companies, but in this case, because the road was resurfaced, it falls on Surrey County Council. I have chased Surrey County Council as recent as yesterday. I got a response back to say that they are on it. They have come and put an orange marker on it just to illustrate that they're aware of it. It will get done as soon as possible, but I will continue to chase it until this is fixed. And I just wanted to come and let everybody know that I am aware of the situation and I'm on it.
So yes, and I remain on it until it is fixed, because residents have been writing to me about it, especially the ones near that excruciatingly annoying sound that are affected by it. So I will continue to chase that until that is fixed. So that is a quick roundup of everything that's going on in terms of issues that I'm working on, all things Southwest Woking, covering all bits, whether it's Cornwall Road, whether it's Brookwood, whether it's St John's, Heath, all of the areas, and just give you a flavour. Of course, if there's anything that you're affected by, then please do write to me. Drop me a note, and I will try and assist in whichever way that I possibly can. And now I've got a very special guest, my colleague Steve Bax, who is the Deputy Cabinet Member for Highways at Surrey County Council, and he's doing great work in terms of trying to fix issues that lots of residents are affected by all over Surrey. So he's here, joined me this afternoon to take any questions that you might have. So yeah, give a warm welcome to Steve. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Ayesha. Thank you for having me on your show.
No, pleasure. Thank you so much for taking time on this sunny Sunday afternoon. Really do appreciate it, and I'm sure my residents will really appreciate it, because as you know very well, that highways is an issue that is something that we get the most post about, most emails about. It is highways. So tell everybody, Steve, what you cover in terms of your portfolio for highways.
Yeah, so I must be a real sort of glutton for punishment, I think, because my portfolio takes in all of the things that people like to complain about. So that's the potholes, it's the grass verges, it's the relining programme that we're doing across the county, and it's also the weed sprays. And I've been doing this, I think I picked up this portfolio about sort of May last year. And as I say, these are the really contentious things. But actually, I really enjoy that because it gives me something to sort of get stuck into. And I'm sure we'll sort of touch on some of the challenges that we've had. But, my ambition at the moment is to make sure that this year we do a really good service for everybody. Because I think we learned a few lessons from particularly on the grass verges last year, and we've got a lot of good things in place this time around, which I'm quite excited to tell you about.
Brilliant, fantastic. Yeah, we did actually. You're absolutely right. It's amazing how quickly a year goes. But in terms of get issues on that residents had, it wasn't just in Woking or Southwest Woking. It was a Surrey-wide issue in terms of verges. But so I'm just going to start with a couple of questions that residents have put to me. So one of them is, what would you say is the best process for residents to report potholes?
Yes, okay. I mean, look, it's always best to do it on our website. Because it's really we tried our best to make it as easy as possible to go and report. And recently we formed a partnership with Fix My Street, who are an external website service that are sort of linked in with a lot of councils, and we decided to link in with them too, because they've got a great portal, and so that's now integrated with the Surrey County Council website. So I think there are sort of 3 ways to do this. You could either go on to fixmystreet.com and then put in your postcode. And the great thing about doing that is it then comes up with all of the issues in that particular vicinity that have been reported. So if you're sort of wondering, well, okay, there's a pothole, on my journey to work or around the corner from me or something, has anybody reported it? You're able to go on to Fix My Street and you can see that it's been reported. You can even see, where it's at the moment in the system. So fixmystreet.com. There's also tellus.surreycc.gov.uk.
Okay.
And then there's the Surrey County Council website. And when you go on the county website, there's a sort of button to the right that's just called reports, and you can click on that. So it's really, we've done our best to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And would you say that from those 3, they're kind of like the same level in terms of how quickly an issue reaches officers and is resolved? I mean, there isn't like, Fix My Street isn't in any way quicker in some, would you say, or they're kind of at the same level?
No, I mean, I think people might sort of think, well, if they went on the county website, that might be quicker because it's the county's own website, right, as opposed to an external. But we have integrated it, the service from Fix My Street fully. So actually, it all goes to the same place, and it doesn't really matter too much which one you choose. So residents can pick the one that works for them the best. But it will get into the system. They'll receive an email back to say it's received. They'll be able to go onto the website and in the Fix My Street portal, they can see where their particular concern is and what we're doing about it.
Excellent. No, that's really useful to know, because I think if residents are, I think the whole point of us having these different ways for residents to report it is it just kind of empowers them, and it's not. Yeah. It's a lot quicker. The more people that are looking at it or are affected by potholes, the quicker they report it, the quicker that they're. Because every time I see it, I report it. But if residents are doing it, then that just means it just gets in the system a bit faster.
It does, and I mean, what I would say about potholes as well is, I mean, look, we as county council do get a lot of stick for it, but it is a national issue, nationwide. It does feel like it's got worse over the last couple of years, and mainly that's because we've had some very wet winters. And typically, when you get the combination of a wet winter and cold, water's getting into the road and it's freezing, and then you've got vehicles going over the top of it where there's already a cavity forming, and then you'll end up with potholes. But obviously, we've increased the resources that we put towards the pothole repairs, and I just before we came on air, I sort of had a look around and see if I could find an uptake figure. And so this is sort of from the 1st of April of last year up to the 31st of January, so it's fairly recent still. We'd actually fixed 48,327 potholes. So although it might seem like there's a lot of them out there, there's also a lot of work being done to actually fix them.
Yeah, no, we certainly have put more resources on it. I think that's very true. But no, that's good to know that that work is continuing, and that I think it is a priority for county council to try and improve our roads, whether it's potholes, road safety, all of that is absolutely
and
a priority.
Of course, like the reactive stuff like fixing the potholes is one thing. We need to make sure we're on top of that, but there's also all the preventative stuff that we're doing, like our Project Horizon program of resurfacing roads, and there'll be roads across all of our boroughs that have been prioritised, It's extremely expensive, so we just have to manage with the budgets that we've got each year. But patching and preventative resurfacing is really the best way to avoid getting the potholes in the first place.
Oh, I mean, I know Horizon very well because I'm forever trying to get my roads on the Horizon project, so I'm aware of that. How do you? I've got another question from a resident saying, "How can you share? Can you tell us about the? No, that's the next one. Can you share how pothole repairs are prioritized?"
Oh, how they're prioritized. Okay. I mean, they're typically sort of categorized into four sort of levels of risk, really. And the statutory requirements that are involved here as well. So if you've got a priority one, kind of red coded pothole, which would be where you think there could be a risk to life. So you've got a sort of, large pothole. If a cyclist were to run into it, they could have a really nasty accident. That has to be dealt with within 24 hours, and typically we'll try and deal with it within 2 hours. So as soon as the county's made aware of that, either through our own checks that we do or a resident alerts us, we will go down there and make that safe. Now, it might not be. It depends on, if we're in one of the colder months and the demand is at its highest. It might not be that we'll come along and do a complete permanent repair. It might be that we're in a triage situation, so we'll just fill it in, make it safe, and then we'll move on to the next place where there's an issue. And once we've got the demand under control, we'll go back and typically do a sort of full repair a bit later. But that's the most serious ones. After that, we've got the medium risk, where there's 5 working days to put that right. We also have the low risk, which is 20 working days. And then there are those other types of potholes which are looked at, but they're sort of deemed to be not serious enough that they need an intervention at this time. So they're typically sort of left until some other surfacing happens later in the cycle.
And do we have a way of the ones that are deemed not to be at that stage where any kind of intervention is required? Are they monitored in any shape or form or is it just as and when we kind of report them again, and you go back and think, oh, okay, they have deteriorated?
Yeah. So we do employ inspectors who will go around and do exactly that, inspect our network. They'll drive around and do that. Now, recently, we've invested in some AI technology, and we fitted that onto 4 cars. And so this is kind of a like a dash cam, and it's scanning the roads as the inspector is driving around. And it can, I think, something crazy like about 60 kind of frames a second. So it's really sort of fast, and it's able to, and because it's using AI, it learns as it goes. So it sees a pothole, it then knows from previous potholes it scanned how deep it might be and everything else. And so they end up with a sort of AI generated list of the defects that are on the road, which makes it a lot easier for the inspector to sort of log them in the system and add any of their comments and things like that. So that's definitely the way of the future. So we do inspect, and that is getting much more efficient and faster because we're using technology going forward.
Very good. Now that's really interesting and useful to know. And hopefully that sounds like kind of the future in action, doesn't it? Where we won't go around reporting too many potholes because they already would have been picked up. So that would be very useful.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think we should see an improvement. You mentioned at the start about verge cutting being an issue last year, and that this year we've made improvements so that we don't have the same issues that some areas were affected by. Can you tell us a bit about the verge cutting program for this year then, Steve?
Sure. I mean, I'll give you a little bit of the context first of all. So when I came onto this last year, the verge cutting was a problem last year because, as I say, we had that wet winter. So you'll appreciate if the verges are absolutely sodden, then our cutting crews, they'll usually be on ride-along mowers. They can't get onto the verges without kind of the mowers sinking. Obviously, they do have hand streamers as well, but typically what we were seeing was that the crews were on standby just waiting for the verges to dry out a bit before they start doing the cutting. So it wasn't until sort of late April really when they were getting going. And so they were permanently playing sort of catch up last year, and it generally wasn't sort of satisfactory. So once I got onto it, my role initially was to try to sort of speed things along and do our best to catch up. But quite quickly, we then started turning our thoughts to this year's programme. You know, that was an opportunity to renew some of the contractors. So there were some where you know, we perhaps weren't as happy with how things had gone as we would have liked. So we've made some changes. In a couple of cases, we've asked borough councils to become our contractor in their given area. So we're doing that in Spelthorne and in Guildford as well, where they become our contractor and they cut the verges, because we know they're going to have some local pride in the area too, over and above, you know, what we might expect from a sort of standard contractor. So that all seems to be going quite well. And at the moment, the programme for this year, we've allocated 6 cuts. And so that's 6 in the urban area, and that's 2 rural cuts. I think going back a few years, we did at one point, probably at the high water mark, we had maybe about 8 cuts, and that was because at the time county used to do 4 and the boroughs used to do about 4. And then it then turned out that the boroughs in the end decided that they were going to withdraw from that, I guess, for sort of cost savings. So it just reverted back to Surrey exclusively. And then we were doing 4 cuts, which wasn't quite enough, we didn't think. So we found some extra money to do 6, which seems to be a sort of happy medium. And for this year, we've tripled the amount of road gangs who are out and about in each borough. So I think I jotted down actually what we're up to in Woking. So, so the first cut in Woking began on the 21st of February. And it will be completed, unless we manage to do it ahead of the programme, by the 21st of March. So sort of a week Friday, we should have completed the first cut. They start in Goldsworth East and Horsell. They work their way around the borough, and then they finish in West Woking. So if people in West Woking are wondering, well, hang on, why haven't they come round and done mine yet? They will get to you, but they've got until the 21st of March to do it. And then straight afterwards, the second cut will begin.
And this, I mean, if residents wanted to have a look at when the cut's going to be in their particular area, I assume that information is on our website.
Yeah, it is. They can go on our website, and they can also get some details about how the cutting programme works. If they're interested in things like designating a particular area as a sort of a blue heart, so that it's not going to be cut, that's also something that they can nominate an area if they want to do that. We're quite happy to set aside areas and not cut them for sort of biodiversity reasons if there's a good reason for it.
Yeah. Okay, but that I mean, in order to do that, it has to be nominated by a resident, I assume. Yeah, or by the local member, so they can get in touch with their county councillor as well, to take that forward. I know in my area there was a verge where there was some quite sort of rare flowers that were growing. So we left that area alone as well, and just cut sort of around it. I'm sure there'll be residents who would, for, as you say, biodiversity reasons, not want the verges cut as many times, I guess, and left. So no, that's absolutely fine. At least we do at least give them that opportunity if they should want to do that. So that's really positive. Your other is the other area that you cover in your portfolio is relining.
Yes, the relining.
The relining program. Yeah. So I've just had at the bottom of St John's Hill, I've had the roundabout and the lines redone on that, which look fantastic. Again, they were really faded away, and a resident wrote to me about them, and they've just been done. So that's great. So do we have a relining program similar to what we've got in terms of verge cutting? How does that work?
I think sort of relining was kind of an area that was a bit of a casualty of budgets for quite a few years. And recently we decided that we really needed to put some proper sort of focus behind it. So we've got our contractor out working to a program of lining. In the 24 to 25 municipal year, which we're just coming to the end of, they were prioritising some of those sort of motorway junctions initially, and I know that they've renewed in Tandridge and Mole Valley and Reigate and Banstead. For the next programme that we're working on, it's Epsom, Mule, Elmbridge and Spelthorne sort of turn in the spotlight. So I know your residents will be wondering, well, hang on, what's happening with Woking, right?
I was wondering that.
You were wondering too, of course, yeah. So Woking was last done in 2021. So it is getting due another refresh. So Woking will be on the 26 to 27 programme, which obviously I appreciate is still 18 months to 2 years away. So in the meantime, what we've built into the programme is capacity for sort of ad hoc works, such as the roundabout that you were talking about. If there is an area that needs to be done, then through the county council, so I'd say to residents, get in touch with your county councillor or go on the website and report something. We have got capacity in the system over and above the programme that our teams are working to, for them to come into an area and just refresh some jobs, whether it's a zebra crossing or a disabled bay, or stop lines or whatever it might happen to be. But again, we're putting sort of 1.9 million of money into refreshing this in the current year and sort of in the year to come, sort of similar money. So there's a lot of sort of money being put into this to try to bring those lines up to scratch. And
it does make a huge amount of difference.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I mean, so overall, I kind of feel like there's a lot that's happening, whether it's on the lining or the verges or the resurfacing program, things like that. Because we do appreciate that highways are extremely visible, and they are among residents' sort of biggest bugbears. So although the budget's always incredibly challenging, we're trying to put as much into highways as we possibly can, and use that money effectively.
Absolutely, and we have prioritised it from a county perspective, and a lot depends in terms of budgeting the money that we get from government, and whether it's a priority for them in terms of allocating funds for Surrey's roads, which are probably as much used and as busy as any London road really, and we don't quite ever get the same amount of funding. So it can be quite frustrating, I think. Although I mean, you and I as members would always want to prioritise potholes, roads, verges. For us, it's always a priority because it's a priority for our residents.
That's right, and obviously we do get some sort of top up funding from the government, which I'm guess that will come from the road tax. The only problem, obviously, with that is it tends to be kind of allocated based on the amount of road that you've got, rather than the usage. It doesn't take into account the fact that we are the next biggest usage outside of London. We've got near London levels of traffic, and that all takes its toll. So I think if you're in a rural area, you probably do a bit better out of the funding formula. And I know that some of our colleagues have sort of had a go at lobbying the last government to change that, and I would imagine that will happen again in this Parliament too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Steve. Really do appreciate you taking the time to come out this afternoon and just talk to residents and just explain your portfolio, because I think for residents it's always nice to put a face behind the portfolio or the person that's kind of responsible for it doing the work. So I think it's really appreciated, certainly by me and certainly by residents. Thank you so much, and I'll let you enjoy the rest of this lovely sunshine and your Sunday, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you, Ayesha, and thank you for everything you're doing for your residents too.
Oh, thanks, Steve. Take care. See you soon.
Yes, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So that is, I hope that was useful for you all, just to see the portfolio member who looks after those areas, and the kind of work that he's doing, and answer some of the questions that you had in terms of those areas. I did have a quick question that was that came in by Trevor, which is regarding its hedges encroaching on pavements on Hollybank, Heath Road and Hollybank Road. Thank you so much, Trevor, for that question. So if you have any area that you feel the width of the pavement is being encroached by a house or a resident's verge, then what Surrey County Council can do is they can write to that resident and ask them to trim back that particular hedge so that it isn't encroaching on the footpath, and pedestrians are able to use the road, use the pavement, sorry, like they should be able to. If you know of a road, or if you can let me know via email which particular area on Hollybank Road or Heath Road that is particularly being affected by this, then of course I can get Surrey County Council officers to write to that resident, but I would need to know roughly the house name or number that is encroaching on the pavement, and I will do that. You know, sometimes I'm reluctant to do kind of blanket letters to a whole road, because the truth is that the majority of the residents are quite mindful, and they do trim back their verges right back. So I don't want those to get the letter, because they'll kind of think, well, you know, my verge is cut right back. Why are you writing to me? So I always like to if officers are going to send a letter out, then send it to the house that is not cutting their verges back. So it's important that I do have the exact house and number. So thank you, Trevor, for that particular message. If you have any other issue, then please just send me a message or just email me, and I will try and work on that and update the rest of the residents on what I'm doing. So that's where we are. That's a wrap for this session. The next session has just come up. It is on the 6th of April, Sunday the 6th of April at again 3 p.m. Hopefully this kind of Sunday afternoon works well for residents to be able to join. But if you're not able to join live, then you can always watch it at a later date. And even better, if you wanted to, like Steve, join me online live, and we can, you know, put a particular question to me or a particular issue, then you're always welcome to do that. And then, yeah, just thank you very much for joining, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thanks. See you next time. Bye.